Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up today with a creator request, which is where a smaller band or artist gets in contact with me and asks me to check out their work. Today's comes at us from Vigo and Karmanjakah. It says, I'm Vigo from Swedish metal band Karmanjakah. We are releasing a new song tomorrow called Breathing. We think it's a banger and would love to see you react to it. All the best. So let's dive into this. I'm glad you guys think it's a banger. It's always a good sign when an artist really likes their work. I think it's awesome. So let's dive into this, see what's going on with Breathing. Yeah, I like how the acoustic guitar is still playing in the backgrounds. The delayed attack. Yeah, it's a fun little melody too, constantly moving. Nice reverb pushed out to the sides. Love hearing the bass. Yeah, bringing it back, an adaptation of that original really dancey melody. Yeah, I like how it's pressing, but relaxed, even in the heavier sections. Rhythmically disorienting, but relaxed enough that I'm not trying to actively figure it out. I'm just enjoying my time in the atmosphere. Yeah, what is this, like the third variation on this idea? I'm really digging the reuse of it. Oh, we brought back the intro acoustic guitar? Alright, y'all. I enjoyed so much about this. Yeah. So, some of my biggest praise I could give this is, it reminds me a lot of Tesseract. And many of the things I enjoy in here are some of the same things that I enjoy about how Tesseract goes about crafting their proggier metal as well. Um, so we kick off the song with the acoustic guitar, and then we bring in the heavy drums and heavy guitar over top it, creating this syncopated element in the heavy elements, heavy syncopated line in the heavy elements that is very djent to me. I don't. I hope that isn't reductive, but it does remind me a lot of the djent genre. Very focused on texture and rhythm over melody, and so we have this chugging, asymmetric rhythmic idea that provides the syncopation against the backbeat that I think on its own would not have been exceptionally compelling, but you paired it with a couple of really great ideas. First of all, is keeping the acoustic guitar in the background, which not only provides levity to all of this really heavy low end playing, you get this really lighter, higher pitch stuff going on in the background, um, but also provides a melodic movement. Boom, ba dum, bum, 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 boom, ba dum, bum, bum, bum. You got this nice flow to it as far as looking at pitches that we don't really get out of the heavy guitar section. But you also decided to pair it with an embellishing idea. We do have that bump, 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 that really rigid, low end metric concept. But above that, we also have this really moving, flowery 16th note ideas interspersed between some of these on the guitar. And it's these little, pockets of four notes that act as both lead outs and lead back into these accented notes. And so it creates something that both has the heavy syncopated rigidity that Gent does very well, with almost counterpoint on top of it with two lead-ish melody lines. I mean, they're both, like two bar loops. So they're not exceptionally strong melodies, but they're there and they're doing two different ideas that work well together and work in tandem for and against the rhythmic element. And it adds so much to the song that I wish more djent bands would, or bands who utilize djent rhythmic ideas, um, would utilize in their music, which is just a little bit of melody, a little bit of something other than that textural uh, rhythmic side. And I get, some people just want to have that really cool, chugging, low end stuff. And, some bands pull it off very well. But, I hear this style of music. Something I've mentioned before is djent kind of died as a genre and is now a rhythmic structure that gets utilized in prog metal, in uh, post-hardcore, in metalcore. Everybody's kind of picking up this rhythmic chugginess to add some fun mathy stuff to their music, and I think it absolutely works well as a component to a song, more so than the genre of a song. But I'm hearing it a lot these days, and I think this is exactly what you need to stand out from the pack, is to understand that it's a component of a section and not the full section, which is an adaptation of my idea that it shouldn't be the whole song, but a portion of the song. You guys just keep refining it down, and I'm here for it. I love the way that it plays against all the other melodic sections. Plus, on top of that, you also put the vocals there. And the vocals are this beautiful, just long held out, or series of long held out notes that sort of exist on top of the music and provide this levity, another element of levity on top of all that heavy chugging. And it just comes out so beautifully. And so the rest of the song is built off of this foundation. And I really like this as well. You found a way to pare down that opening idea between the chugging concept and the fast flourishes, and to kind of strip it back a little bit even further to create a variation on our first riff, which allows for more open spaces and for these pockets of rest to exist as well. So now the song isn't just constant drive forward, we have these moments of the concept of breath within the guitar lines themselves. Just a really great idea altogether. I mean, and even this entire concept of recontextualization and reimagining, to take something you've done and to strip some stuff back or add some stuff on top of it. We see this all throughout the song. This original A section that we have is shown through different lights and contexts throughout the song, and it allows everything to feel um, interconnected. There's certainly a lot of similarities between many of these sections, but what really holds them all together is that they all have the same foundation. And so, even if you wanted to move into a drastically different direction, as long as you retain some of the elements from something you've done previously, or just, make a new variation on our A section, you're going to have that tie back that allows it to still feel like a part of the track. It's just really smart writing altogether. The drumming does a fantastic job throughout this entire track of keeping the energy moving forward while simultaneously keeping that core pulse for the syncopated elements to play against, and allowing this chill element to be in it. The drums don't ever really go hard into it, so to speak. They're always kind of laying on the backbeat and allow the song to breeze or coast. And I don't know if it's particularly just the drums that this comes from. It could also be the long held out notes in many of the vocal sections too, but the song has that gent drive. You can't not have that if you're going with this syncopated rhythmic stuff, but there's so many elements of it too that just kind of feel like it's not dragging. It's not a reluctance either. It's a positive slowness of chilled or relaxed. Just kind of going with the flow. And I haven't gotten into the lyrics yet. The title of the song is called "Breathing," and when I think of the song, I already mentioned that in our second section, you've introduced pockets for the breath of the song, for the song to breathe. But even the concept of breathing, I think, works really well here because the song does have a meditative element to it. It feels relaxed, it feels laid back, even despite the immediacy of the rhythmic element, which could even just be about being present. You don't have to be rushed and filled with anxiety just to understand where you are right now and what you're doing and being made aware of your body. Um, so, maybe the lyrics are going to go in a drastically different direction, but just my initial idea of what breathing is and how it relates to the song, I can certainly feel that meditative element to it. And it exists everywhere. And, kind of compounding off of that, I'm really glad that the vocals stuck to being clean. I don't know if the vocalist has the capacity to do harsh vocals. I don't know if they have the want to do harsh vocals or if the band is wanting to go into that direction regardless. But I'm really glad, at least with this track, it is completely clean. This is something that I kind of wish more metal bands could work within. It often feels like harsh vocals in a lot of progressive metal stuff, especially when you get into the gent area, that harsh vocals are a component of that. So much so that even bringing Tesseract back up, if I remember this correctly, their first album had harsh vocals on it because they were afraid that if they didn't have them, people wouldn't like them or they wouldn't be taken seriously or something like that. And I think like the next 3 or 4 albums had all cleans after they had found they had a fan base, you know? I could be a little wrong on that, but I seem to remember that story for some reason. And I'm just really glad that you guys created this music with this type of style to it and said we're gonna go all cleans. It's something I just wish we saw more of. Um, Again, out of this side of the progressive metal area. And the vocals are just beautiful too. They exist so well above. And that's the other thing too is, the mix, the production of all this, it's just really well done. There's a lot of clarity of the sound. There's a lot of elements going on at any one time, and all of them can be heard clearly, but they aren't so far distanced from each other that it's difficult to hear them as a whole. The song can still be heard and felt as a singular entity of art. I don't know, man, the whole song just comes together for me. I'm going to look at the lyrics and we'll see what's going on there, and we'll wrap this up. Yeah, so the meditative element definitely stands out here. The lyrics open up and say the colors of a raging storm and how to discern the sand composing the window, air passing by, and you becoming the audience. It's broken up in a way, both of the use of the lines and where the pauses are through the commas, to be a bit, um, I might say profound, but I mean, the idea is all there. To be able to look at the colors of a storm, to understand the sand composing the window. Glass is made of superheated sand, if I'm right. And so to be able to look at glass and see every grain of sand that composes it requires an intense focus and concentration. It says to feel the air passing by and realize you're just the audience. This idea of meditation and being aware of all that is around you, not just glancing at it and moving on, but understanding what it is. Guidance rhythmically uncovered within us. All we need to do is concentrate on what's within, and we can connect with what's around. So, yeah, there's not a lot of lyrics here. In fact, I've just read you half of them, maybe two-thirds. Um, but that seems to be what the song is about. It's about connecting through breathing, which is really the heart of a lot of meditation, is learning how to get out of your head and enter the now, to just exist with what's around you and recognize all that all that's here at the moment, instead of worrying about yesterday or worrying about tomorrow or trying to figure out what needs to be done in the future, in the past, any of this. Just be present, which these are concepts that I talked about in the music just a little bit ago, and how they're perfectly integrated into even the music. Like I had mentioned that we started with our A section hyper complex. We had both the fast flourishes plus the rhythmic component, and throughout the song we find variations of this that even strip this away and allow us to hone in on what the root of this sound is. Getting rid of the noise, getting rid of the embellishing elements, and really, what is this here and now? What's the base element? So yeah, musically, there's a lot of similar themes to the lyrics in this track. I mean, this is just the total package for me. I loved every bit of this, and I'm even happier that there's such cohesion between the lyrics and themes. That seems to be the big miss, if you want to call it that, with some of these creator requests, which I'm just going to chalk it up to, a lot of these are smaller bands, first time making music or albums. You got to find that synergy between the bandmates and the vocalist and your lyricist, and trying to get everything working together. And sometimes you're just trying to make music, right? You're not trying to make masterpieces, you just want to get an album out. And that's definitely the goal for a first time band. You just want to, you need to get something out there. And so, I don't fault any band for it, but when I see a band that's putting out music early on in their career, and I already see that synergy. Like I know they're going places. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've got to keep an eye on this group and see where they go because I think they have a bright future ahead of them. Those are my thoughts on Karmanjakah's Breathing. Let me know yours down in the comments if you enjoyed this or not, anything that stood out to you, anything you'd like to add on to what I said. Up in the description box, usually I would put my stuff. Instead, we're going to put Karmanjakah's stuff, uh, streaming platforms, social media, websites, merch, anything I can find, I'm going to drop in there. You guys can check out whatever you want of theirs. Above the description box, if you could like, subscribe, and ring the bell. If you head on over to any of their sites, please like, subscribe, favorite, heart, whatever. Show some love from Critical Reactions. That wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC. We're going to check out a full album. Sunday, we have our live stream in the morning, EST, and then Monday, we'll be coming back with next week's theme. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.